overthinking. Lots of athletes overthink, especially when it comes to tumbling and blocks. So how do you stop overthinking?
Yeah, so I always say to my athletes is what's the opposite of overthinking? And they either say not thinking, underthinking. So that's when I challenge them. Is it possible to not think? And they're like, I'm not sure. The answer is no. Your brain is always thinking. Even when you're sleeping, your brain is thinking. So unless you are not breathing and alive, you're thinking. So I like to say the opposite of overthinking is their other example, underthinking or what we call simple thinking. So when we overthink, it just means we're thinking too much, where some of those thoughts that you're thinking might actually be helpful, but it's covered in so many other thoughts that you can't even use it. So simple thinking is a lot of what we teach. And there's a bunch of different examples of how you can think simply. And so it's more or less choosing one thing that to focus on. And then positive things like, okay, I got this, push through my toes. And that's what you're thinking versus my cartwheel example from a while ago, where you're thinking about a million things right before you go. So I like to say opposite of overthinking is simple thinking. And then how do we think simply? And that's where you come in with like a process goal or a mini goal of something or cue words to remind you what you want to do, as opposed to a paragraph and a half of what you want to do.
Yeah, that's super helpful. I know too, when I ask like my athletes when I'm working with them, and I ask them, what do you think about? A lot of times they're like, well, I try not to think, right? So your brain does not have the ability not to think about something. So if you don't give it to something to think about, it's going to find something that's probably not very helpful because it's trying to keep you safe. So it's going to focus on something bad or something that can go wrong. So we want to think, but you want to think very simply, just like you said. So choose one or two things. Yeah.
When you're in that simple thinking, that's where your body is going to trust itself the most. Because when you overthink, that's a lack of trust. When you think simply, your body's like, all right, I know what to do. And you trust that your body will bring you where you want to be.